All right. Good evening, and good evening. How are you guys? How's everything? I hope you guys are doing good. Everything is fine with you. The lockdown is going good and stuff like that. All right. So, what we are going to talk about, right? What we are going to talk about. An evening with the monster. Well, ta-da! D6. Wait. Let me adjust it. Wait for it. Yeah, that's better. D6. Ta-da! Alright, what happened was today that... okay, let me put it over here. Yep, yeah, that's good. What happened today, I got a call, actually yesterday, a very late night. I got a text from one of my friend, of course, mother, and he texted me and he told me that he like to take a ride, like he like to try Nikon D6. And I replied, of course, why not? And because Nikon Middle East always, they are very generous and very kind towards photographer who like to go with the gears, like to test and try and all these things. So Nikon Middle East very kind enough to lend me D6, which is right over here. They always give me the gears to test and review because that's my hobby. I learn gears, I learn about their technicalities, and then I share my input based on the experience that I have gained over the years. So, like the Nikon guys, they called me yesterday evening and they told me that we are going to have D6 in our hand, and if you like to have D6, you will have a very limited time, and in that time, you have to go through it. And I was like, no problem. Let's see how it. What's the maximum I can get? Like, how late I can get. Anyway, so today afternoon, I got D6 in my hand, and this thing is with me for 24 hours. That's it. So for 24 hours, I can use it, abuse it, or of course not abuse it. I mean, use it and push this machine to the pieces. Now the thing is, this machine is a low light monster. It's high frames per second machine as for photojournalism. The thing is, in 24 hours, you cannot test a machine, You cannot just, because we are having lockdown, we cannot go out in the night, we cannot go out early in the morning, same because of the lockdown. So I'm kind of a very strict scenario. But I thought, okay, regardless of anything, let me push this machine and see how it goes. So in the afternoon, I get this machine, 2:30, and I immediately decided that this machine is 14 frames per second, high ISO, and the best thing, the new thing about D6, it's autofocus system. So in order to test this machine, we have to go into a scenario where we can test all these three parameters: high frames per second, high ISO, and autofocus. Rest of the features are the same, just like D5. The three things are improved over the year. The high ISO performance, of course, the dynamic range. Its dynamic range is improved. I'll tell you in a minute how it goes. So I decided to go to Al Qudra Lake, where we have wildlife, little bit of wildlife over there, where gazelles, birds, ducks, all those animals are, there in their natural habitat. So I thought, okay, let me go there directly. So I just couldn't rest. I just came back home, picked the camera, lens, charged the battery within 1 hour, and I straight went to Kudra Lake. The moment I went to Kudra Lake, I put 200 to 500 on this lens and I started shooting. Now, this is the funny thing. I put two 120 GB XQD card, two XQD card, 128 GB, and I fill them all the way. Zero image left. So I shot 2000 frames in 1.5 hours. 2000 frames. Now, obviously, I was like burst mode. Fortunately, I found a group of gazelles, in our native language called Hiran. So those gazelles, they were bunched, their mother, father, and the small kids. So they were running around, and I was like literally panning and shooting gazelles. I was really very lucky. And I was praying that I am going to a place where I need to find these animals in order to check this machine, its autofocus performance, and I was like, I wish, please God, I have this machine for 24 hours. Help me to push this machine. Help me in finding the animals, so I can justify the 1 day trip for this. So this is what happened. Was I found gazelles, a group of gazelles. I found birds. I start shooting and all those things. The first thing, man, the autofocus. Oh, the I'm not exaggerating. Oh, I swear to God, I'm not exaggerating. I didn't switch it to. It has two autofocus systems, one in the live view and one in the viewfinder. In the viewfinder, I already made a video before I even left for testing it, and I already uploaded that video on Facebook and also at my group view. So you can check how snappy the autofocus is. But that was indoor, stationary, still object, and I'm tracking by moving the camera. In real life, I went into the Al Qudra Lake. I found gazelles, I found birds, and I start tracking. And I can guarantee you, I own D4S. I own D4S. I know how D4S performs in autofocus tracking of any wildlife subject. Same lens, 200 to 500, 5.6 from Nikon. I put the same lens on D6. The lens performance is like, it's improved by twice as much. Same lens, which was acquiring the focus slow. Now it's zippy, and the tracking, the 3D tracking, it's literally, I haven't seen in any Nikon DSLR. I own D4S. D4S is not even close to the 3D tracking for this machine. It has 17 different continuous group autofocus configurations. 17. I only tried two only, but 90% of the time, 95% of the time, this camera was on 3D tracking. That's it. I didn't do anything at all. I just put the cursor near to the subject. That's it. After that, I press the back button autofocus, and that's it. Camera automatically tracking the subject all the way. I shot 2000 frames, not 100, 200, 2000 frames, and I'm just editing them right now. The high ISO images, I already uploaded on my Facebook and also already uploaded on View, the Facebook group that I run. 28,800 ISO is so clean that you go there and the Facebook page, VUEGRAPHY or View, or even you can check on my profile, on Facebook profile right now. 28,800 is just like ISO 400. I'm not kidding. Even I am surprised how clean that camera produces images. And of course, the dynamic range at high ISO is not good, which you can expect from any camera. 1DX, or there are bandings at high ISO. When you try to recover shadows, there are visible bandings, which is even D4S or D5. The issue was the D5 was that at low ISO, the there is a visible noise when you try to recover shadows. That was the most common issue of D5. That is improved in D6 a lot, way better. The high ISO, I already uploaded the sample images. Even at 50,000 ISO, it works like a champ. But the best thing, now see, when it was released, everybody was making abusing Nikon. Oh man, it's not D6. The specs are the same, megapixel are the same, ISO is the same, blah blah blah. Its autofocus points are reduced from 153 to 105. How it's going to be D6? It should name even D5S. Even I was one of the guys who called D6 a D5S. I was one of the guys. But I stopped myself because you cannot judge the camera until you really have this camera in your hand and you test it, right? So this is what I did. I put this camera into the paces and I literally shot today. I filled the card, 128 GB card, almost completely filled, 2000 frames. And in 2000 frames, I can assure you that 3D tracking I haven't seen in any Nikon DSLR like this guy does. Period. D3, D3S, D4, D4S, D500. I thought D500's autofocus is as good as D5. I used D5, limited, but I did use. But this guy is on another level. Now after shooting 2000 frames, now I know that why instead of calling D5S, they skip that number or skip that designation and they call it D6. Why? Because of its autofocus. This machine is all about autofocus system. Amazing. You put that, I literally saw that it was tracking the face in viewfinder. I'm not kidding. Tracking the face on viewfinder. Which camera does that? Normally you go to the live view and you have eye autofocus. But this camera can do in viewfinder, an optical viewfinder. What else you need? The autofocus system, it's really crazy. It has different configuration. I tried 2 of them out of 17. Like I said earlier. And the build quality, it's rock. It's literally rock. I mean, it has so many functions. Even I have to spend 1 hour, or not 1 hour, 30 minutes just to go through all of them. Even there's all the Nikon DSLR system functions is on my fingertips, but still there are so many new options in there that it requires a whole new practice and you have to read manual in order to go through it. It's not easy. The button layouts changed. The info button is over here. Previously it was here. Joystick and everything. There are certain things changed which I am missing. Previously, there's a focus point. You press it, so you can configure it to changing the metering mode. Now it's not there. I don't know why. Because they have dedicated button over here for metering. This one. Previously, I configured this thing that you change this. Where it is? Yeah. You change this. You press it. I configured it by D4S. That if I'm matrix mode and I need to quickly switch to spot metering, I just press this button and my camera metering switched to spot. This option is not, I haven't seen it. Maybe I have to go through a lot more carefully through the menus to find it, but normally where these functions are available and the custom menu setting, that I haven't seen. Maybe it's some other way, some other section I haven't seen, but I have to go through it. But ISO already uploaded, video tracking, autofocus already uploaded. So I, no, I'm not exaggerating. After using this, my D4S is like a baby who, who don't know what's going on in the world. I'm not kidding. D4S is one of the most versatile machine I ever used. But this thing surpassed D4S at multiple levels, multiple times. वालेकुम सलाम काजी भाई कैसे हैं? I hope आप ठीक होंगे. So this machine D6, I have to sell my D4S. Who wants to buy my D4S? I'm serious. I'm really looking forward for D6 now. I really need. After it has GPS and everything. This machine is for, by the way, if you are accusing Nikon for making this like, oh, it's not good enough, it's just another iteration of D5, trust me, you haven't used any high-end machine in your life. Maybe it sounds a little bit personal to you, but I have nothing personal with anybody. Because you don't know what kind of machines these are and who these are built for, what kind of work they are built for. These are not for regular people. These machines are not for regular use. These are photojournalist war photography, where you are literally throwing this machine here and there and they can take the beating the hell out of it. So don't judge these machines by just going through the specs. Okay? I own D4S, so I know what it is capable of. And if you own D750, alright, or you own D810, or you own D850, so it doesn't mean that this machine is anything less than those. Actually, this D6 is surpassing in many ways than those machines are. High ISO, best autofocus so far in any Nikon DSLR. I'm not kidding. I tested this machine because I own and I've used almost every Nikon DSLR except D2 or D1. I haven't used D2 and these two machines, D1 and D2. Other than that, I use D3, D3S, D4, D4S, D5, D500, D750, D780, D800, D800E, D810, D850, D500, D7000, D7100, D7200, D5000. I used all of them. So I know what these machines are, inside out. This D6 is right now the king. If you're following me, you probably haven't seen me talking about D5, right? Because D5, in my opinion, at that time was okay. It was okay. But this thing, trust me, the moment you start using this machine in 3D tracking, your whole perception about Nikon or D6 especially is going to change. And this is exactly what happened with me. I was cursing Nikon that this is another D5S. What the hell is this? I am so disappointed in Nikon, blah blah blah. But this thing, when it comes to autofocus, blows me away. I'm just wondering, with the slow lens like 200 to 500, 5.6E, which is average lens with average speed, that lens was performing so well with D6. So I'm just imagining, how about 400 2.8 E-type? How about 500 f4 E-type? How about 600 f4 FL? Those lenses with D6, they're going to kill everybody. Literally kill. No question asked. So I'm just like, damn. Seriously. And I was shooting RAW plus JPEG. I put two cards, RAW plus JPEG, in each card and as a backup as well. So I was shooting raw JPEG of one shot in one card and another raw, another JPEG in another card. So I was shooting like one image 4 times. Call me crazy, yeah, I am, because card redundancy is very important for me. So I shot like this, and on that I shot 2000 frames. Man, the way it was, there is an option in the autofocus, group autofocus, where you can only configure a line of the autofocus and you can move up and down. So I was shooting gazelle and I laid on the ground. I literally laid on the ground and my camera was on the horizon level, exactly at the ground level. And I used that line and I shifted down to shot gazelle, because gazelle was moving like this, and I have in the foreground I was having a bunch of trees which were up and gazelle was down. I can see the feet, and there was a one tree over here, one tree over here, and there was an opening in between. So the moment was gazelle came, I locked the focus over there, and the moment it came in that arc, I shot it. Amazing, because of that autofocus line. So I did a little bit of homework before I start using this into the field today. You need to know what your machine is capable of. So I customized that group autofocus system into that line, and there are two options you can go with. So I customized that one line, and the second option I choose it with the square. So in the square group autofocus system, I use in the portrait mode, and there was a bird sitting on the top of a tree. So I was shooting in that. I moved that square on the top, so it locks on the whole bird, and rest the tree, whatever comes in the depth of field scale. So I shot like that. Works like a champ. Both group autofocus system. There is one thing which was annoying for me. Whenever I switch it off and turning back again, that group autofocus system was always enabled. I don't know why. That was annoying me, because every time I have to change it. I don't know. But white balance, no issue. High ISO, I already uploaded the image. 28,000, 30,000, even 50,000 ISO. Nothing. 28,000 is so clean. So clean. I purposely opened and I took the screen grab for you guys so you can see I'm not lying. Whatever is there, I share with you right from there. Even the 3D tracking, I shot from the viewfinder using my phone and I shared with you so you can see what this machine is capable of. I don't know, nobody other brand people, they are not doing it. It's their matter of choice. But I encourage them to share these kind of tests for their Canon or Sony so everybody can learn from it. But I do these kind of things, but trust me. Okay, I am selling my D4S. Who wants to buy? I am going to sell it with dial bracket. I'm not kidding. I want to sell my D4S now. Who wants to buy? Privately message me, okay? It's quarantine time. I know nobody wants to spend money. I'm going to return this camera tomorrow afternoon. I'm going to shoot this with camera tomorrow morning after Fajr. Low light. Same 200 to 500. I'm going to try. Let's see how it goes. Or shall I try 300 to 8? 300 to 8. 300 to 8 is going to let enough light. So autofocus will work. At 5.6 is going to be a matter of, it's the autofocus is going to have tough time at 5.6. Yep. I'll do it with 200 to 500 5.6 because it will give a real tough test for this camera autofocus in low light. At 300 2.8, of course this camera is going to lock the focus because of the 2.8. The matter is, how about that I have 5.6, if it can lock or not. This is what's going to be a test tomorrow morning. Alright guys, so that was a quick update about Nikon D6. Thank you Nikon Middle East, thank you Mazhar Qurashi for letting me this machine and having me this machine, so I can go through spaces and let's see when I will get it. Oh no, exactly. See, D5 somehow never connected to me. It didn't. Never. You haven't even saw me talking about D5. I always talk about D850 or D500 or D700 or D3S, something like this. But you haven't seen me talking about D5, right? But this camera, D6, is the new king. Is the new king. राजी भाई कोशिश करते हैं खुश रहने की, क्या करें, दोस्त हमारे बहुत अच्छे हैं ना, जिंदगी इतनी अच्छी है, कोई गम नहीं है, हमें पता है हमें क्या करना है यहाँ पे लाइफ में सबके साथ। ये ओके, अल्हम्दुलिल्लाह। By the way, this is the second unit from the production. How I know? Check the serial number. 78000002. So this is the second unit. People already use this machine in Dubai, and I was there in the line, and I got it today. So inshallah, one day. Who wants to buy my D4S? Just tell me. Who wants to buy my D4S? Because I need to sell my D4S to get this. Thank you so much. Inshallah, फिर बात होती है. I'll talk to you guys later. That was a quick update about the Nikon D6 experience that I have today. See you soon.